hand someday.
Welcome to the International Rainbow Push broadcast. We are broadcasting live to you from our national headquarters at 930 East 50th Street. We are pushing for excellence. We're pushing for change. We're excited because our founder has returned from South Africa from a very historic trip. We're dedicating this broadcast to Rita Cloyd, former Operation Push employee, sister of one of our founders, Mr. St. Clair Booker. We are praying especially for the family of Winnie Mandela, who was a freedom fighter from South Africa, who kept alive the memory of former President Nelson Mandela. For 27 years, she fought the fight. We are also praying for Jennifer Reardon, one of the Wells Fargo employees who was on the plane that the engine exploded in the air on Southwest. We're also praying for one of our former staff members, Bishop Tavis T. Lane Grant, on the transition of his father. Funeral services are in progress today. And we salute those students who took to the streets across America, marching for gun control, to end the violence in our country. We invite you to join us. Call your friends, tell your friends to join us. We are on the Impact Network all over the world. We are live stream. You can go to rainbowpush.org and tell your family and friends if they can't connect to us on the television. Go to rainbowpush.org on your cell phone or on your computer, and you can see us a live stream. Just push live stream. You can watch us live on Facebook. You can watch us live on Periscope. We invite all of you to join us as we push for change.
Oh, we shall overcome someday. Well, deep in my heart, oh, I believe that we shall overcome someday.
And now with a special, we have a special musical selection from our guest soloist, Mr. Caleb Searcy, who is going to come at this time in his own way.
I know a place. Ain't nobody crying. Ain't nobody crying, no. Ain't nobody lying to the race, no. Hey, said, help me now.
I'll take you there.
Said, oh, help me now.
I'll take you there.
Said, no, me now.
I'll take you there.
Said, no, I know a place.
I'll take you there.
Ain't nobody come, no. Sitting here, yeah. Lying to the race, said no, man. Oh, yeah. I'll take you there. Said I'll take you there.
I'll take you there.
Said you there.
I'll take
Can we
you
break it down? Let's break it down. Come on, bassman. No, yeah. Come on. Come on, Said, oh, I know a place, y'all.
I'll take you there.
Said, yeah, I said, help me. Yeah, I'll take you there. Oh, said, I'll take you there. Come on, y'all. I'll take you there. Oh, I said, help me now.
I'll take you there.
Oh, I said, help me now. No, I'll take you there. Said, no, help me. I'll take you. Said, I'll take you. Come on, y'all can do better. Come on. I said, help me now.
I'll take you there.
Said, oh, help me now.
I'll take you there.
Said, help me.
I'll take you there.
Oh, help me now, yeah. I'll take you there. All right. Said, oh, yes, and I'll take you there.
We have a lot of ground to cover today. Our founder has returned, as I've indicated. Our national spokesperson will be coming up shortly, but we want to give you a few events that you should put on your calendar and seek to attend if you're in the Chicagoland area. First of all, this coming week, those who are in Chicago, we have a special focus on Friday on city colleges, community colleges. We will have a tour of some of the city colleges in the Chicago area. Many of our students, if they go, Dr. Roberts, to a 2-year school, they can then afford to transfer to a 4-year institution at the end of those 2 years. Many students need to up their grades and learn how to prepare and take notes in a college environment. And then there are students who are not going to go to a 4-year institution but are looking to be prepared for a trade. And so we invite those of you who are interested in learning about communications, if you're interested in logistics and want to work for companies like Amazon and Cisco, you might want to join the Push Excel City College Tour this coming Thursday. We'll be leaving 930 East 50th Street, going to visit Kennedy King, Daley College. We will be visiting Olive Harvey College, Community College, and so that and then we'll be looking at Dawson College for those who are interested in construction, those interested in trucking and transportation. You would want to participate in this college tour. And then on the 26th, those of you who are interested in the construction business, Omar Sharif and our jobs team are hosting a meeting with United Airlines and Power Construction and Cone Construction, talking about the work that's going to be done at O'Hare Airport. There's a lot of construction work, and we want to be a part of it. If you are interested, you need to call us right now, 773-256-2775. That is, our phone bank is open. We're waiting to hear from you. Omar would like to see you if you are interested in work. If you're interested in being a subcontractor on this project, you'll come on Thursday night right here at Push at 6 p.m. and you'll hear more about that. Finally, we have a construction expo on May the 11th, Friday, May the 11th. We want all of the subcontractors to join us, and you will be able to network with those general contractors and developers that you haven't been able to have access to. Join us at Push this on May the 11th for the Construction Expo. And then finally, what we want all of you to do is to get ready for the Rainbow Push Convention. This is a convention whose time has really come. It is a very historic moment. We have a lot of challenges ahead of us. This convention will connect us in ways we've been disconnected from our international community, the African community, the Korean community, as well as our brothers and sisters in Haiti. We are convening our international family with our director, Mr. James Gomez, at the convention. We will open our convention with some exciting entertainment that we will tell you about later. And then we want you to register. Registration is only $50. You don't want to miss this convention. It's $50. Those of you who want to register, you can register online right now, rainbowpush.org. Now, to really give us a perspective on what's at stake this year and all of the things that we ought to be concerned about is none other than our national spokesperson, Mr. Jonathan Jackson. He is going to put in context for many of us this year's convention and why you don't want to miss it. Welcome him as he comes.
Thank you, Attorney Reverend Wilson, and I thank each and every one of you for tuning in today to the Rainbow Push program and broadcast. First of all, I'd like to thank God for having returned my mother and father safely back from South Africa. And I'm so proud that they went to South Africa to give the same level of adulation, admiration, respect, and honor that was due to Mrs. Winnie Mandela that was afforded to President Nelson Mandela. Mrs. Mandela was a champion for freedom, a champion for justice, and a life well lived. And I can remember my last visit to South Africa with my father when we went into the foundation offices and sat with then President Nelson Mandela. He had already turned over the powers of government and been succeeded by someone else. And he was no longer receiving formal guests. And of course, my father was in the country, and President Mandela heard about it and was excited to receive him. And as we went to his office, President Mandela was of age then, and his ankles were swollen. And when he saw my father, I could see his eyes light up. And he stood up on very frail ankles, and he exclaimed, "Freedom fighter." Some people call themselves activists now, and that's a good title. But freedom fighter is a lifelong commitment to justice. Freedom fighter. I hear those words in my head now, freedom fighter. That President Mandela carefully having chosen his words. We were in Memphis just before my father went down to South Africa, and what happened there? There was a gentleman that sat beside me on the plane. He didn't know me, and he says, "I don't hear much from Reverend Jesse Jackson these days." I said, "Sir, Reverend Jesse Jackson is my father." We were in Southwest in row 30, and I was in the center seat, and I was the smallest person in the seat, in the row. And then I went on to share with him, I said, "Whose work is this anyway? And what have we done to further freedom?" People keep talking about passing a baton, but Reverend Martin Luther King had a torch, not a baton. He had a torch. He lit a way. He had a path. He put light into dark places. He put heat into cold places. And I'm encouraging people in television and radio land, pick up the torch. Stop looking for a baton. It's not a race, it's a struggle. And it's long lasting. And I want to share with you my thoughts today on Starbucks. I hear the nation is very much concerned about Starbucks. We have teachers that are walking out of schools in Oklahoma and West Virginia because the pay is so low. And I see these same bravo, grandiose standing men. They want to stand behind every policeman that murders a child, but they won't stand up and fight for teachers. Something is wrong when a union is highly localized with women and they want to bash women. Something is wrong. But ladies and gentlemen, let me share with you my thoughts on Starbucks. I have a great deal of respect and admiration for the CEO, Mr. Schultz. What did he do? He has 8,000 stores across the United States. He has Miss Melody Hobson of Ariel Capital on his board. He's had a partnership with Mr. Magic Irvin Johnson to go into urban areas. They have more bathroom facilities available in communities of color along with McDonald's than all other retailers combined. Many cities don't even have public restrooms available anymore. Can you have some employees that are wrong? Absolutely. But you should be judged by what you do, how you respond when you find out something is wrong. He left his office to go meet with the young men. He summarily had the young lady removed and fired. He went to the board for action and said, on May 29th, we're going to shut down 8,000 stores. We don't need the money. We need to get the culture right. This is what he did. When there was issues in Ferguson and other places, he said we should have a race dialogue. That didn't come from the White House. That didn't come from the Attorney General's office. That was corporate leadership that he exerted himself. What do I have to say about Starbucks? Well, 50 years ago, there was the Kerner Commission, where they talked about in this 400-page document that was compiled over 7 months that simply said that we were a nation going separate and unequal. Here we are, 50 years later, as we look at Mrs. Barbara Bush laying to rest. God bless her and the Bush family. But can you believe that the Reverend Martin Luther King is younger than Mrs. Bush? Can you imagine what life would have been like had Reverend Martin Luther King been able to live out 50 more years? Reverend Martin Luther King has been dead longer than he ever lived. It's a freedom fight, and I need you to join it, ladies and gentlemen. Starbucks, I applaud them for the direction they're going in. This is not a Starbucks problem. I've talked with my father. This is an American race problem, and it's going to manifest itself in fast food, car dealerships, airlines, housing, lending, education, matriculation, incarceration. This is an American problem. We need leadership that's willing to stand on the front line. Some people can make their way to the Bush funeral, but they can't make it to Nelson and Winnie Mandela's funeral. Some people can make it to the Bush funeral, but they can't commemorate the life of the Reverend Martin Luther King, who didn't fix the blame. He sought to fix the problem. He wanted to put light in dark places. Somebody has to stand and fight for racial justice. And the older I get and the closer I get to my father and mother, the bigger and the larger they are in my eyes, having made a commitment to fighting for racial justice and equality. So freedom fighter, I want to say I'm proud of you, man. I want to say I'm proud of you for having the unmitigating gall. Dad, for having the audacity, for not having the portfolio of Secretary of State, for not having the portfolio of the Attorney General's office, for not having the portfolio and all of the weaponry and all of the tools of the presidency of the United States of America. I want to applaud you for having a Bible. I want to applaud you for having a faith. I want to applaud you for putting that faith into works and making it into action. I want to applaud you for not taking on what's popular, but taking on what's principled, not taking on what's expediency, but taking on what's true value. A freedom fighter, having just come back from South Africa, from having knocked on doors and opened opportunities for future generations right here in America in Silicon Valley. Some people will get contracts and never know where they came from. Others will get contracts and be ashamed to be affiliated with you. Some of our children are now gonna finish college, and guess what? They're gonna need a job. And Reverend, they don't want to come in here on Saturday morning. They want to email. They want to text. They want a messenger. They want to hit you up on Facebook. They don't want to show their face and put their hands on the plow. My brothers and sisters, we're going to need a revolution in values. We cannot go anywhere without courage. And I'm going to leave you on this. What are we teaching our children, brothers and sisters? What are we teaching our children when there's an empty seat in a civil rights forum at any day, any time, anywhere in America? Stop your children from becoming future beggars. Our children aren't going to get what they deserve Our children aren't going to get any benefits from all their hard work and their good grades if they don't have courage and character to match. I had to tell my son one of the best deals you're ever going to do is the deal you walk away from. When you're not treated properly in a restaurant, be it of any name, stand up. To the young brothers in Philadelphia, I applaud you for your courage. I applaud you for your behavior. But young brothers, it's not an American and a human thing. It's a black thing. It was a racial thing. To the police chief in Philadelphia that had to backtrack and apologize to the young men. The mayor was right and the black police chief was wrong. To the black police chief, be it Chicago and Oakland and other places that don't see anything wrong with shooting down a grandmother right here in Chicago, that take the side of blue as opposed to the side of right. That's wrong. We need some black men and black women in the police department that have some courage. You saw Officer Crawley in Boston. What did he do? Officer Crawley had a black sergeant with the same rank beside him, and he did nothing, on his knees like a coward. How many people are going to be scrapping around for the rest of their life looking for a pension, looking for my job security, going to hell on your knees? Well, let me tell you, God bless, I'm 52. I went to the doctor the other week, and I saw the nurses at the end of the station, Dad, and they were talking, and I said, hold it, what are you doing? You can't talk about my medical records. What are you all doing? I've been going to them for so long, we have a very cordial and friendly environment. And the lady says, I apologize, Jonathan, and it won't happen, but when I told the nurses that I had a black man, an African-American man, 52 years of age, with no diabetes and no hypertension, nobody could believe it. Then I had to think about what have I been doing to keep away hypertension, since it's not hereditary on our side, and what have I been doing to keep away diabetes? I can only think of one thing. It wasn't the fitness club, as you can see. It wasn't because of what I've been eating. That ain't it. I've eaten everything that I've wanted to, and pork is a basic part of my diet. Moving right along, I said the only thing I can think of to give me that besides the grace of God is I come to push on Saturday morning. Everything that's on my mind, from the mayor to the police chief, from Oakland to Oklahoma to West Virginia, I get to be a man amongst men and speak my mind. I don't have to have tension in my veins. What do I want? I want our children to come out. My father's not going to be here forever. I'm not going to be here forever. This is not a Jackson platform. This is a freedom platform that Reverend Martin Luther King had blessed. Our decency allies that Reverend Martin Luther King told us about weren't going to necessarily be our equality allies. When we start talking about a piece of the pie, a slice of the bread, our children getting jobs, you're going to be called all kind of names under the name of God. But we're not going to be deterred. We're going to fight on because we have a faith. And in this organization, at its head, that the Reverend Martin Luther King blessed, that God had worked with to put right here, he gave us a freedom fighter. I'm all for the activists, but that's not about joining the front of the crowd. The freedom fighter goes against the crowd when something is wrong. And I'm honored to say, Dad, keep it up. Stay strong. Africa needs you. America needs you. My friend and my brother, my father, the Reverend Jesse Jackson, thank you for letting me say a few words today. Now, we have a very special guest today. A young lady is here from Detroit. Not only is she beautiful and instinctively intelligent, and not only is she here with her mother and grandmother, she is going to have my privilege to introduce the freedom fighter, the Reverend Jesse Jackson.
The Hero in You by T.L. Cherry. A hero is not someone in a cape with a bunch of special powers. A hero doesn't leap from tall buildings or swing from great big towers. A hero doesn't have X-ray vision or the ability to fly. A hero won't have a secret lair or a beacon in the sky. You see, no matter how hard you search, never will you find a comic book hero of the supernatural kind. You see, the power of a true hero is not something you can see, because true heroes are just regular people, just like you and me. Every day we get the opportunity, every day we get the chance to right a wrong, make a difference, or change a circumstance. This life is not measured by what we have, it's measured by what we do. So today is the day, and now is the time to find that hero in you. Because in the perfect day, people come and people go. Will we see tomorrow? We do not know. Tomorrow will bring whatever it may, but today seems like the perfect day. It's the perfect day to say I love you. It's the perfect day to say I care. It's the perfect day to say thank you. I appreciate you always being there. It's the perfect day to help someone in their time of need. It's the perfect day to do all you can to help someone succeed. It's the perfect day to reach out to someone who needs a helping hand. It's the perfect day to help someone to their feet that can no longer stand. The place is here, the time is now. So take a moment today to appreciate the best things in life in each and every way. For no one knows that exact circumstance of that final moment, of that one last chance, because tomorrow's not promised to me or you, but we have today. So what are you going to do? Let's bring out that hero in you. I am honored to introduce our sage leader, the Reverend Jesse Louis Jackson.
We are marching in the light of God. 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 We are marching, oh, we are marching in the light of God. We are marching, oh, we are marching in the light of God. We are moving 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 in the light of God. We are moving, oh, we are moving in the light of God. We are moving, oh, we are moving in the light of God.
I am somebody. I am somebody. Respect me, protect me, never neglect me. I am somebody. I am God's child. If my mind can conceive it and my heart can believe it, I know I can achieve it. My mind is a pearl. I can learn anything in the world. Stop the violence, save the children. Down with dope, up with hope. Down with dope, up with hope. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive.
Destroyed. I may be empty but not void, 'cause I am somebody. Oh, I am somebody. Oh, I am somebody.
Mahan. Give Brother Mahan a big hand, Brother Mahan. Alicia Fell, Alicia Stenham, 9 years old. Give her a hand. Give her a big hand. And she was not reading any notes. Give her another big hand, Miss Alicia. Thank you, Brother Jonathan. Give Jonathan another hand, our National Director. I want to put a few things in perspective today. June 12th, or really 10th through the 16th is the Rainbow Push actual international convention. Brother Moore, on that Sunday we're going to Cook County Jail because those young people, men and women, boys and girls, who are 18 years of age, who have not been convicted of a felon, are eligible to register to vote. If you're in jail on nonviolent crime, you shouldn't be in jail in the first place. Some have been there 3 to 5 years waiting for their trial, but they're all eligible to register and vote. It's all around the nation. We're going from cities, schools, and jails, registering our young people to vote. We kick off that Sunday involving them. We've been talking with some tremendous guest artists who will be with us on that week, and then we kick off with our construction trades program on that Wednesday. The women's luncheon on Friday, we're bringing Nelson Mandela and Winnie Mandela's daughters. Put your hand together for the Mandela family. So much conversion on us rather quickly this year. We were in Memphis commemorating 50 years of Dr. King's life and what all it meant to us. What he did in 13 years, he changed laws, and the parallels between what he was doing, did do in South Africa is just awesome. And while they're commemorating his life, we got the word that Winnie Mandela had died. We were not inclined to go to the funeral, but we had to go. It was the right thing to do and the right place to go. We were received so well in South Africa by our special guests there. And then on the April 4th at 6 o'clock, they rang the 39 bells for Dr. King's life. Linda Brown died in Topeka, Kansas. Now let's talk about Linda Brown for a minute, because we kick off the modern civil rights movement started at Rosa Parks. That's not true. 1954, after 58 years of legal apartheid, legal segregation, that little girl and her father, Reverend Brown, walked into the school with the armed support, and they won a legal victory. I asked Mrs. Rosa Parks the next year, I said, Mrs. Parks, why didn't you go to the back of the bus? She said, well, I would have gone up front and stayed. She said, but I thought about going to the back, but I thought about that baby, I couldn't go back. I thought about Emmett Till, who had been killed August 28th, and I couldn't go back. She said, I was testing the 54 decision. A 42-year-old woman was testing the decision involving a 9-year-old black girl, Linda Brown. Out of Rosa Parks' testing of the case, Dr. King emerged interpreting the case. And so really, that a 9-year-old child kicked off the drive to end legal segregation in this country. We owe a tremendous debt to the Brown family. We're going to honor them at our convention. So we're going to honor them at our convention as well this year, Linda Brown of Brown Topeka versus Board of Education. And we thank God for them. Also, yesterday I got back from South Africa. We had a tremendous convention, National Action Network, Reverend Sharpton's convention in Chicago, a tremendous convention, broad cross-section of leadership. Give Reverend Al Sharpton a big hand, would you please, Reverend? Let me share with you a few to-do things as we look at this year. We have an opportunity to put Trump in a box with our vote. This year there are 4 million high school seniors eligible to register and vote. That was not true 50 years ago. They come across the stage with the plume in one hand, symbolizing knowledge and wisdom, the voter card on the other hand, symbolizing power and responsibility. Every high school senior should register and vote now for this fall's campaign. Why we focus on 17, 18-year-olds? Because there are more 17 and 18 than there are 71 to 81. Young America must come alive. Don't just march in the spring and forget the real deal is the examination will be in the fall this year. We urge you, the 4 million blacks in the South unregistered, 4 million unregistered. 4 million blacks in the South, 2.5 million who registered who didn't vote. No one has earned the right to do less than the best and expect the best. One of the things I found to be so critical, Sister Emma, has been that if you feel a little challenged by going in the booth, you don't think you can quite do it, say everybody who votes has a right to take someone in the booth with them. Jen, I want to put a booth up on the stage because when I go to vote, I'm in the booth alone, and they got all these gadgets, and I don't feel secure. And so I bet in Magnus, it was Alice Rickey, would go in the booth with me, and I would take with them, here's who I want to vote for. See, it is perfectly legal to take someone in the booth with you to vote. Now, they can't go in voluntarily. If your pastor registers 100 people in your church, he can send just outside of it, he can go in there every time another member votes. Don't refuse to vote because you feel insecure about the process. A lot of people who are not secure in their literacy, no matter how much advertising, they will hope you win, but they will not vote for you to win. I always tell a story of my grandmother who was not going to vote for me. Not because she didn't love me, but grandma couldn't read and she couldn't write. She was not going to go downtown and tell folks she couldn't read and write and make an X. Mother and I, we had to say, you must choose your dignity over your pride and over your fears. We're to take her and register to vote. Say everybody, 17 or older, has the right to vote. Every high school senior, every college student, everybody in jail, not a convicted felon. Everybody has the right to go in the booth with assistance to vote your convictions, your hopes, and not your fears. Now, don't just be talking trash about Trump and don't vote. We're going to send Trump to La La Land. He better do all he's going to do between now and November. We're a plan for him. Now let's talk a little bit about South Africa. There are now 55 million South Africans. About 10 million are white. It's like a black ocean with a white island in the middle. Black South Africans are freer. White South Africans are richer. 25 years after voting in South Africa, black South Africans are freer. White South Africans are richer. When I was there in 1979, black South Africans had to walk with passbooks in their pockets and show them when they saw a white person coming down the street. I walked in the airport, Giant Smuts Airport in South Africa. I saw blacks pushing brooms and mopping, but no black was handling tickets behind the counter. 1979. Now the airport is named Oliver Tambo Airport. But blacks now have the name of the airport, but white folks have the airplanes. I was talking to a woman from Cape Town. She said, I am in charge of the maritime trade. I control all the boats that come in and out of this port, but blacks have no boats. Now, the next stage of our struggle, we're going back down and have a major international conference because as they use their marching feet to end political apartheid, they must not end resource apartheid. Resource apartheid. There's no reason why you have 60 Mercedes dealerships in South Africa, not one black-owned. More Toyota dealerships than that, not one black-owned. We're going to change that situation. So we demand our share of dealerships. Black South Africans cannot settle for freedom without equality. They're free. Free to be unemployed around 40%, free to be poor, free to vote, but the media's control, all the interpretation of them is controlled by white people. That's why they looked down upon the Winnie Mandela so long, because she was a freedom fighter. Be careful about the what one might call a kind of appraisal power. I said some time ago, Benny, you buy your wife an expensive $50,000 diamond ring. You excited and broke, and she happy because you bought the ring. And someone said, well, that's a beautiful ring, but tell your wife she should get it insured, because she may lose it. Someone may steal it. And so she go downtown, and some guy downtown with a little eye say, I see a flaw. That ring is worth $25,000. No, I paid $50,000. It's worth $25,000. No matter how much you protest, it'll be insured at the appraised value. Or you may say, this ring, I see this is rare. It's worth $100,000. No matter how much you paid for it or didn't pay for it, power is in the eye of the appraiser. So if the Sun-Times and Tribune are praising us, if the majority, you be careful who you let appraise you. They tend to, those who have the most strength are praised the most negative. A lot of talk about Dorothy Brown might run for mayor. Why is she all over the paper? Because she could win. She beat the machine running for office. Got independent base, tall, smart, black, beautiful, got a church base. Now, I'm not endorsing anybody to run. I'm simply saying that because she could possibly win, she's all over the paper. Well, they said the federal government don't like her. We don't like the federal government. So no one should allow the enemy to praise their worth. We must appraise her based upon service. So we must appraise our own based upon our real needs. Now, I want us to do three things. One is that a major focus talk with the Board of Education leader today. There are 10,000 high school seniors in Chicago, public schools. We're going to register every one of them to vote. We're going to Cook County Jail. We're going to register every one of them to vote. We're going to do that right around our nation. 4 million high school seniors. Don't stop there. Also, in addition to that, we're going to go south, Mississippi, Arkansas, and Memphis, Tennessee, right down there in the heartland, the soul of our country, where you got whites in Appalachia and blacks in the Delta of Arkansas and Mississippi, rich soil and poor people. We're going to change that situation. So we're going to change that situation. We're going a step further. We're looking at Kroger now. And since we challenged Kroger, Kroger's hiring blacks left and right. They're trying to outrun the picket sign. We're going to keep marching. On this note, I'll leave you because I just want to kind of lay this out to you today. So we will register and vote by the millions. We have the power. We have the power. We have the will to defeat our adversary. Secondly, we have the power to free South Africa. If they could take the majority of the population, if they could take the right to vote, say freedom without equality is not enough. Free to starve, free to be uneducated, free to be unhealthy, free to be without skills, free without control of the media or international trade. We are going to change our situation. I'll say this and I close. When this thing gets tough, don't let them break your spirit. Some people walk around with their heads hung low. We have enough power to elect presidents. And those who elect must make sense for us. The people at Miss Bush's funeral today, they couldn't make it to Memphis to honor Dr. King's legacy. In all due respect, Miss Bush did not help us elect black presidents and congresspeople. She did not ever walk a picket line for our right to vote. In all due respect, we really, and I've known her, I respect her as a lady beloved, but somehow if you can go to Miss Bush's funeral, you can go to Miss Mandela's funeral and Dr. King's commemoration. Does that make sense to you? We must not be a minority. We must not have a mentality that makes us disrespect ourselves. Went to Winnie Mandela's funeral last Saturday. 60,000 people at the stadium, 60,000 people. About 10 of them was white. The power base in South Africa is black people. And so we got freedom and they got the money. We want freedom and money and contracts and mining at the same time. South Africa is 90% black with 4% of the land. It's unfinished business, 90% black in South Africa with 4% of the land. Not one Mercedes dealership, not one Toyota dealership in the majority of it, because they cut a freedom deal, they didn't cut an equality deal. But now it's time for this generation. Don't say what has not happened. Finish on what must happen. Stage 1 was to end slavery. Stage 2 was to end Jim Crow. Stage 3 was the right to vote. Stage 4 is access to money, industry, and technology. Say this day is about us. But don't let them break your spirit. So our hearts are heavy, but our minds are made up. It gets dark, but the Lord is our light, and the Lord is our salvation. Whom shall we fear? Don't be afraid. Love and courage. Love means a lot, and faith means a lot. Without courage, you'll get to the water and won't jump in. So love is not enough. You need courage and the will to fight back and stand up on your feet. So I am somebody. I will register and vote. I'll register and vote. We will go forward by hope and not backwards, by fear. We will win this tug of war for the soul of our community and our nation. We'll go forward by hope and not backwards, by fear. Forward by love, not backwards, by hate. So I am, like you mean, I am somebody. I am somebody. Put your hands together.
I am somebody. Oh, I am somebody. I may be down but not destroyed, empty but not void, 'cause I am somebody. Oh, I am somebody. Oh, I am somebody. You can turn and walk away, but at the end of this day, I am somebody. I am somebody. Oh, I am somebody. God made me in His own image, and I am somebody. Oh, just pray for me. Oh, just pray with me. Oh, pray with me for the world. Pray with me. Oh, so just pray with me. Oh, just pray with me. Yeah. Oh, pray with me. Pray with me.
I want all of you to get involved involved in our convention. It's June 10th through the 16th, which is the volunteer today. Some are watching us on broadcast today. It's just $50 to register for the convention. You may want to send a donation to Push today. You want to help us in our voter registration campaign? We need your support now. Mike Esper is running for Senator in Mississippi. We can win the Senate seat in Mississippi. So we have the numbers, we have the will to win the Senate seat in Mississippi. If we're going to take on this battle, we need you to, we're not going to get a grant from Trump to fight Trump. So we cannot ride to freedom on Pharaoh's chariot. So call me right now at 773-FREEDOM or go to our website, www.rainbowpush.org right now and join Rainbow Push. Call now. Call 773-256-2775. We need your support now. Don't just hope for us and pull for us, pull with us. Together we can win this battle. We can stop Trump's mess. If Putin don't get him first, we'll get him. Those who will contribute today to the organization, if you will volunteer for the convention, you'll be a volunteer, stand. You'll be a volunteer for the convention, stand. You'll be a volunteer for the convention, stand. You'll be a volunteer. We need volunteers for our convention. Thank you so much. Come on down. You'll be a volunteer for the convention, stand. Joanne, come on down. You'll be a volunteer. Emma, come on down. You'll be a volunteer for the convention. You'll be a volunteer for the convention. Come right on down right now. We need volunteers for the convention. We need men, women, boys, and girls. Come on down now. Come on down. Come on down. Those of you, if you're not registered, you'll register for the convention today. You register for the convention today, stand. You register for the convention. You register for the convention today, stand. You register. You register today. Ben, have you registered yet? No, you haven't registered. Jonathan, collect Ben's money right now. Register for the convention right now. Keep Maple Staples and the Staples family in our prayers today. Yvonne was such a good person. She went so much, we know her across the years.
For all love and all, sending you. People get ready. There's a train coming. You don't need no ticket. You just get on board. So, all you need is faith till the diesel's humming. This food for all those who love the most. Say, for the train shortened, picking up passengers, set from coast to coast. Can you hear the diesels humming? There's food for all the long boys. It ain't you. Said I'm talking about love, joy, yeah, and peace. Oh, said I'm talking about love, oh, joy, and said in the peace. Oh, people get ready. There's a train coming.
Not yet.
Don't need no backing.
If you've not yet made your donation, you'll give at least $100. Raise your hand and come forward. Come forward. You give at least $100. Please come forward now. We need your support. We need your support. Come right on down right now. Thank you, Benny. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Brother Maddox Moore. Sigma Man. You give at least $100. Thank you. Brother Maddox Moore, $200. Give Maddox a hand. If you're not yet given, please come forward. So Sam, I know you got money. You a $500 coat on. Benny Payne, $100. Give Benny a hand. You give at least $50. Raise your hand. You give at least $50. Come forward. You give at least $50. Come forward. Thank you so much. You give at least $25. You give something. Come forward. Come forward. Thank you so much. Thank you for your generosity. You give now. Come forward. Volunteer for the convention, raise your hand. You volunteer for the convention, raise your hand. Come forward. You volunteer for the convention, come forward. You volunteer for the convention. You volunteer for the convention, come forward. Give your names. You volunteer for the convention. Hey, Miss Alicia. Swipe machine down front. Amen. Amen. Put your hands together. June 10th through 16th, we need your support. We're going to make something happen real big. We must set the pace for the nation. So we've never lost a battle that we fought, never won a battle unless we fought. When we fight back, we win. We need volunteers for voter registration. If you want to help us with our convention, meet me in Evans Chapel right now. If you want to help us, raise your hand. You want to help us with our convention. We need volunteers for the convention. We need volunteers. Please go out. You help us with the convention. Go out front. Those who help us with the convention, go out. We'll meet you in Evans Chapel. Miss Omar, need your help. Meet me in Evans Chapel. You're a volunteer for the convention. You're a volunteer. We need help. Organizing workshops and organize for jobs. God bless you.
Good God Almighty, hey. Come on and sing it now. Hey.